Hey everybody, Corey here. I am going to do just a really quick, if I can get my thing to work, a really quick video here for Crash. It is going to be included in the YieldMax ETF single stock video, but I just wanted to quickly go over this. I forgot to add this Thursday or Wednesday night. I can't remember which one it was. I guess it would have been Wednesday night. I don't know if they did any trades on Thursday. I know they didn't on Friday because that's when I remember to pull the data. But I still forgot to add this to the holdings. So I have done it. So now, so we can at least look at the holdings here. So it's going to be somewhat similar to the other ones, but not exactly, right? So I assume everybody's going to want to call this Crash. There's also Crush. I thought about doing a poll, but then I thought, what does it matter? I assume everybody's going to do Crash. I don't know. If you have a preference one way or the other, you can leave that in the comments below. And I will look at that. So I've spent many hours since I've got home from my trip to Tennessee and doing spreadsheets and videos so far. And this one I spent more than anything else trying to get it added into the spreadsheets, making sure I got everything updated and making sure I got the formulas correct. And I guarantee you I've missed something, and I'm sure there's a formula that is not correct. And I apologize, and I'm sure I'm going to figure that out sooner, hopefully, rather than later. But obviously on the left-hand side, we have the same data like we normally do. Of course, I'm not sure if we have any new people watching this video, but of course we have in this case, yesterday's stock price was Thursday, so it closed at 20. And then, of course, I might have manually updated this because if you don't know, Google Finance does not, won't pull in the new ETFs or right away, and if it does, sometimes it'll go away and come back. But anyway, and then Friday it closed at $20.05. The NAV is equal to $20.03. So Tesla closed Thursday at $108.01, and then it closed on Friday at $181.14. Of course, normally I do these at the end of the day. Friday, though, I was traveling to Tennessee, and I've been out of town all weekend with the family, so I haven't made videos. But here, this one's a little different. I've had to add in, oh man, and okay, I was just going to say, okay, so this is on the original thing. It's probably wrong on my data copy. But we have our short put, and then I've named this one a long call. I don't know that it should be named anything else, but and then we obviously have our synthetic. And so our short put is similar to our short call, right? But it's a put now. And it's a put, so it's not a call. Now our long call here is going to be similar to the short put that we would normally have, but it's going to be out longer. And in this case, it's actually out the same as the synthetic dates here. But anyway, on the left-hand side, so these will be adding up those separately. So I had to make this section, like the others, 2 lines longer because now I had something else to add, and that was the best thing I could think to do. And I was like, well, it's not a big deal either way. I just normally, I only had so many lines before, and I didn't want to change everything. In this case, I was only changing one. So anyway, we don't have any trades, so obviously we're not going to go over that. But to go over this here, so we have our synthetic position with the expiration date of July 19th of 2024. Of course, we have a call and a put, and our strike price is 180. And so in the crash one, so I feel like, I don't know, maybe I should put over here. Yeah, I should put here short just in case. Because all the rest of our positions, we're assuming, or we're, that we're going, oh, that's not going to work because, sorry, because my data's coming from that formula. But the rest of them are basically, we're going long on the stocks. On this one, we're going short on them. So it's going to be the opposite. So like here in the synthetic, and Max, I know you're watching. And I promise, Max, I'm going to watch the video you sent me this weekend and give you my feedback on formulas or whatever. But please correct me if I'm wrong here, especially since I just did these formulas, and I really hope I got them right when I created this. But for our synthetic here, normally on our longs, or the other stocks that we are used to with YieldMax here, we want our stock price, to be above the synthetic position and then below our short call. So I try to explain it that, easy in between those two. In this case, it's similar, but the opposite, right? So on the synthetic here, on the 180, we want it to be below the synthetic amount, but above our short put. So we would want it between the 175 and the 180. So that's why in column L, the difference, where even though, normally we would be a green positive one because we're over it, but because we're the opposite, it's a negative one. We want the stock price to be under 180, and it's currently 181. And so then we have the short put, again, the short call. We normally do not want it to go over the 175. In this case, it's the opposite. We do want it to go over the 175. And we are above it by 4%. So that's why the 4 is green here. And then we have the long, what I'm calling here is the long call. Which is the same thing as the short put that we have on the rest of them. It's just not short time frame. It's a longer time frame, hence the reason I'm calling it long. So this one's going out, in this instance, a couple of months from now, a little over a couple of months, and it has that call at a $265 strike. So right now we are 32% underneath this strike price. And then for this one, we have it green. And we also have positive over here, 17,000 if they needed to close this position. Sorry, I was just looking at the numbers in the right-hand column. And then, of course, the bottom is our synthetic. I guess I had this. Yeah, the formula's a little different. Because usually I don't have those duplicate for the synthetic positions. So just not to have extra numbers there if I didn't need to. But Max, please triple check me here. Make sure I am right on these, because I know I had these wrong a couple of times. And then I had to go back and really think about it and really look at it. I'm like, okay, this should be this. And I've changed them a couple of times. So it's very possible, right, that I could have my formulas wrong there. Let me move this over just so we can see. Well, you're not going to be able to see it unless because normally I don't care if you see the left-hand side, but with this one, I want us to see the left, just to see how these do. I'm going to make these. Actually, I'm just going to make it small. Our contracts are 135. This is what they're worth each. And then, so that should be better. I started trying to do the possible upside, and I'm glad I stopped, because I would have never went back to these other formulas and realized that they were wrong. But, so we can see here, yeah, so like this one's blank. This one should be blank too. But anyway, so this is showing, because we are above this synthetic position, that it's bringing the stock price down $1.86, and that our short put here is showing negative, but if you recall, our short calls always show as a negative. Or do they always? Maybe that's just been recently, the last couple of weeks, that the markets, well, that doesn't make sense either. But we're always going to have to pay to close out the short, whether it's even if it's 1 cent, we're going to have to pay. And then for our long call here, this is actually bringing the stock price up 14 cents a share. So these two aren't quite canceling each other out, at least not at this time. But again, this one's a long, long, long ways away, obviously. Well, no, I'm not going to say obviously. But yeah, so the synthetics there, they were done at the money, supposedly, I guess, which makes sense. If Thursday they closed at 180 and this one started at 180, then that makes sense if they're around 180. And then we have our short put, that is done 0 to 50 or up to 15% below the, let's say below, but now here I'm trying to unwind the mindset of all the rest of them. I know, so the long call, it's, out of the money, out into the future. And then the short call is 0 to 15% difference. I guess it only makes sense to be below. I was second guessing myself, but up to 15% below the stock price, right? So if 180 was at the money, then the 175 would have been up to 15% below that. And if we're wanting our stock price to be between that 175 and 180, that makes sense. But I am going to let Max, make sure 100% straighten me out here, make sure I have this right, and then this will be added and covered with the daily. And so with that said, I also added that on the bottom to the daily. I don't know why I don't have a freeze pane on this one. So obviously here we had no trades. We had the net assets there for that one. And then, of course, the current stuff we went over. This is what we would go over during our daily. Again, we have that data already. And then, of course, we have Tesla. And, yeah. So, let's check this one because I thought I'd changed these formulas. And again, I have no freeze panes. It's like they disappear. What did I change now? I wonder what I changed. Because based on what I just said, this is over. So, I probably didn't change it here. Oh no, this is the stock price. So this is, my bad, sorry. This Tesla stock price went up. And that's recovery stuff, which we don't talk about. Okay, so here, and I need to clear this because this formula doesn't work for this one. But our short put is 175, and this is going to take me a minute to wrap my head around this, guys. I apologize. 175 put, which the stock price is $6.14 above the strike. So we are positive 4%. This is actually wrong, and I probably should check that part of the spreadsheet because I bet I did not. So I need to check that. And then here for our synthetic position, we have the 180 strike price. And we are above that strike price right now by $1.12. We're above it by 1%, and we're wanting it to be below it. I don't remember if, just trying to match these up. The synthetic value, okay. Oh. Okay, so that all comes back to back here, which I thought I changed, and maybe I did not. So I did do the short put, which made that right. And then ooh, bad thunder. This is saying our synthetic value is only 44. Which is correct. Okay. Clearly I have... All right. I'm glad I looked at this now. I normally would not have compared these, but by going back and forth and looking at these and talking about them, yeah. So I had to change my formula because, and I don't know, we may have to change it back later. We'll see how this goes. But all of the other single stocks, the strike price, in this case, they're all the puts, have 1 cent on the end of them. So my formula is set up to subtract the 1 cent to make it match, 120, 120 to add those synthetics together, right? And in this case, it subtracted the 1 cent, but it didn't find another synthetic with 180.01, so it didn't find the other one, the way my formulas are set up. So now I did it minus 2, so now that the synthetic strike prices would equal the same in order to bring that over there. So now it is correct, which is actually negative 36 cents. I thought that seemed high earlier, and I thought, well, I don't know, I guess it's right? But it's because of that, this 2 cents right here. So that means I need to keep an eye on this in case they change it and it goes to be 1 cent or something. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so that's why that was wrong. And so now we have that right there. So that will match there, which is the total. And so now that matches that. So all of those will match that. So assuming I have my formulas right, then they're right on both of these tabs. If I have my formulas wrong, they're wrong on both the tabs. But I'm like 95% sure they're good to go. Obviously, you saw I just found an error by looking at these. But the main thing I need Max to just do is just verify what I've said about these, these synthetic and these new positions, making sure I'm right with this strike price over, under, and everything. And then the rest of my formulas will fall into place. But anyway, this ended up being a lot longer than I had planned for it to be, but I did want to break this out just because it was a little different, but this will be added to the single stock ETF videos. Thanks for hanging out with me. Talk with y'all later. Bye.